Hello, everyone, and welcome to this segment of BuiltHow. So I'm interviewing David Lawson, and David is joining us from the beautiful Park City, Utah, right, which is just incredibly gorgeous, and probably a lot of our people watching have been there. And David, so what I wanted you to share, if you'd be willing to do so, is first of all, of course, your business name, and then years in the business. And we really wanted to talk about what's unique about how you built your business, because I know you guys are just exploding. I think you probably had one of your best years ever.
Yeah.
And yet you and I go back a long way, many, many years. And I've watched you and in fact had the pleasure of coaching you for a portion of that. And then you working with me in my coaching practice. And, so we've got a lot of great history. So I thought, wow, you need to share your magic. So go ahead, if you will, and just introduce them to you, a little bit about your background and all of that good stuff. And then we'll get started.
All right. Well, thanks, Debbie. Well, I'm David Lawson. I'm the team leader of the Lawson real estate team. I work at Engel and Volkers in Park City, Utah. I've had my license in Park City for over 20 years. And then I was involved in real estate before that. And we have 3 assistants and 5 agents on the team. And I can kind of explain to you a little bit about how I slowly grew that with your help, by the way. Without you, I wouldn't be where I was today. So thank you again.
Thank you. So David, what do you project you guys will do next year? What's your production goals for the year ahead?
Our goals for next year, and it's funny you ask because I'm just finishing up my plan for 2021. But the first thing I always do is figure out where we were. We're at $98 million closed year to date. And by the end of the year, we're gonna almost reach, or we're gonna hit $115 million. And that'll be about 150 transactions.
Okay.
And 150 transactions is my goal for next year. And I have 3 goals. You know how I've taught this in the past. I have a goal, I have a stretch goal, and then I have what I call a Mamma Mia goal.
Okay.
So 100 million is my goal, 120 is stretch, and my Mamma Mia goal for next year would be 150 million. So I really focus a lot of my business on transactions as opposed to just volume. And the thing is if you do the math, you can see, a lot of my deals are $800,000 average, right?
Right.
But I do a lot of stuff on the lower end, the little 1-bedroom condos and those types of things. We do a lot of stuff in the million range, 2, 3, 4, 5 million. I've sold the most expensive property in the history of the Wasatch Front MLS in Salt Lake City at $10 million. So I really have focused my entire career on really trying to help a lot of people. And the reason why is the more people you touch, the more people you help, the more opportunities you have for getting referrals and repeat business and friends and all that. And especially, it's always important. We know how important good customer service is.
Right.
But I found out over the years, especially in the last, say, 3, 4, 5 years, if I sell a house, I do a great job, I get a great paycheck, they don't owe me anything. I'm not getting referrals off that. I did a good job. I got paid a lot of money. So one of the things in my team we've really focused on is trying to make sure that our clients have an exceptional customer experience. So it's going over and above. So that is clearly one of the things that we've developed that's really helped us. And the thing is, I know lots of people, some of our clients when I was coaching with you were doing 100, 200, 300 transactions, and we're only doing 150. But you have to understand, we live in a town of a little over 13,000 people.
Okay.
and we have about 1,200 real estate agents.
Yeah.
So somewhere around 1 out of every 10 or 1 out of every 15 people that lives in Park City has a
Right.
real estate license.
I've told that story a lot to people in the past when they'd say, well, my market is so competitive. And I've talked about you, and I said, pretty much if you went into Starbucks and stood in line in the morning and there's 15 people, you're not going to be the only real estate agent there, right? I mean, that's how small it is. And even though Park City is a relatively small community, don't you think, because you travel back and forth a lot to California, you have a second home there, don't you find that every market is small? Like Newport Beach in a way is a small market.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills is a small market. And so when you're building that kind of culture, let's talk about the team for a moment. I read a book that a person I know, Carmine Gallo, wrote called The Apple Experience. And he was talking about the Apple service model. And his point was, I don't hire techies and teach them to be nice. I hire nice people. And then I teach them what I need to teach them. So you have a strong culture. You also have this high standard of service. How has that impacted how you built your team?
Well, I use the Marriott model, which is, he says, how is your customer service so good? And he said, well, I don't hire good people. I hire friendly people, right? So one of the things I believe in is hire slow, fire fast. I believe in finding the right person and then trying to put that right person in the right job. So I think that that's pretty critical to find people and I do a lot. I just hired in the last year, I've hired 2 new people, and they're both doing 2 transactions a month right now already.
Which is not easy in your market, right?
No.
There are some markets, I never really like to use the word easy when it applies to real estate, but there are some markets where it is easier to do more units, like maybe in certain parts of Oklahoma, or like there are certain areas where the price point's very reasonable and you can have newer agents cranking more units, but that's not the case really in your market or in mine here in Newport Beach. So how do you get them quickly when they join you to a level of doing at least 2 units a month?
Well, for me, I coach them. 30 minutes every day, we do coaching and role play. And we try to get everybody on that call. I have 2 1-hour meetings. So when you join my team, you have 4 hours every single month or every single week that you're going to be talking to me and the team. And the thing is we talk to, everybody on the team is listening. Every time we have a challenging transaction or something, I'm trying to teach and train everybody at the same time, because my time is limited and my time is valuable, as you know.
Right.
So if I can be more efficient in my training of my agents, they increase their business so much more. They learn. Basically, I tell people, if you work with me, you'll have a bachelor's degree in real estate in the first year, and you'll have a master's degree in the second.
See, that's an important piece. And I noticed that a lot of team leaders don't like to train their people, right? And they don't have time, right, to train their people. I would think that would be huge for retention as well, because, we want them to feel confident and successful, and yet also somewhat dependent on you, right, to continue to learn and grow.
Yeah. Well, the average agent, they just stay with me for so very long. After 4 years, 1 person left. And what I did is I hired 2 people to replace them. And those 2, either one of those 2 people within 6 months will surpass his old volume. And it was because he was the least of the team player, and he was the one that didn't show up all the
Not
time.
coachable.
And, he tells me he's leaving and he decided yesterday. And we've been saying, oh, I knew you were leaving 6 months ago, right?
Right.
So
right.
we kind of know. So I one of the things I really do is I build culture. I want people that are all going to work together. I had somebody who went on vacation last week. He went down to Cabo. He's been working incredibly hard. And the agents on my team were fighting to help show property for him, work on his listings, do walkthroughs. I mean, that's the culture. And when you can build a culture like that, you can build a team that there's no stopping them.
Well, it becomes almost like a family, right? There's a relationship. So
Yeah.
then under that category of leverage, I think with your business in California and then later Park City, hasn't it been 30 years plus that you've been involved in real estate? And yet you still seem to like it. So how has your role changed? And what do you spend, other than coaching, what do you spend the majority of your time doing?
Okay, so yeah, well, I sold my first house in 1978, but I was only 3, so
Yes,
now you can figure that
out. Right?
Okay. So
see, they want you, they need you.
Yes. Yeah. So I've been around a long time. And how do you keep the momentum and how do you keep the excitement going? And where do you spend your time?
Right.
So I've always believed that you know this. Okay, when I started out in Park City, I knew that I wanted to grow a business and I wanted to grow it fast.
Right.
So what did I do? I focused my time. 6 to 7 hours a day, I was working on the lead generation and income producing activity.
I remember. Mm-hmm.
Right. And then I spent 1 or 2 hours a day on what I call the other stuff, right? We know we have to support listings. So what I did to be efficient back then is my very first hire was an assistant, right? And then I would grow an agent or a showing agent or a buyer's agent. And then as we grew, I'd get a second agent. The thing is, I want to do what's absolutely the most critical thing for my business. I'm a salesperson. I need to be selling. I always tell people nothing happens until a sale is made, right?
True.
And so the thing is I really say that I'm good at about this many things and I'm not very good in this many things, right? So all of the things, I have not touched a file now in 14 years. So I have somebody that handles all of that so I can be efficient and time efficient with my business. So I commit to about 6 hours a week with my team. It's not something that I necessarily wish it's not my.
I know what you mean.
I mean, it's just necessary, right?
Necessary.
But because it's so successful, I'm excited about it. And I tell you, they absolutely love it. So the other thing that I do is my job today is to go out and find one listing, right? So it's easy when you have a singular focus. So after the morning, like this morning, I've already coached my team an hour ago. And now I'm trying to get listings. So we'll have 2 listing appointments going out, one on a $5 million house and one on a $800,000 house.
So the people watching this segment, probably they could be, because about 60% of who we coach are teams. So they very well could be a team leader or someone wanting to build a team. And I think what I've watched you do well is assemble your team where somebody's phenomenal at the paperwork. Somebody's in charge of the marketing. Now, that doesn't mean you don't oversee that marketing, but you've got someone in charge of the marketing. You've got your team agents. That part of your time is coaching. And yet you haven't given up production. And yet it sounds like you focus primarily on listings. So the buyers go to the team and you focus on hunting those listings. Is that how you operate?
Yes.
Mhm.
100% of my buyers go to my buyer's agents. I don't represent any buyers.
Okay.
And because of my travel schedule, I bring an agent in on every one of my listings.
Okay.
I
So you have a
call that,
listing partner, so to speak.
yeah, I
Yes.
call it the golden handcuffs, right?
Okay.
So I'm generating stuff, and my listing presentations are just like this right now,
Mhm.
right? My listing presentations, most of them now are on Zoom. Most of my buyers, I mean, my sellers are out of town,
Right.
right? We
And
can
even
do
if they're not out of town, they're often comfortable with Zoom because many of them are your past clients and
yeah,
you know their properties,
yeah,
right?
that's exactly right. And so being efficient, like you said, so how do I do it? I try to be very efficient. I try to time block. I mean, you taught me there's nobody I've ever met in the industry that's better at time blocking than you. I
Yeah, I'm
mean,
a little bit of a freak.
you are, and you
Just a
helped
bit.
me. And, I think you coached me for 3 or 3.5 years and my
Yeah.
entire team. And some of the things that I learned from you, I still use, Debbie, to this very day. And
Well,
I've had a
what's
lot of coaches. I've coached a lot of people. And you, in my opinion, you are the very best coach, one that I've ever had or one that I've ever met. And
oh, thank you.
I say that because I mean, a lot of the other coaches that coached me, and I can say that because of how well you, or how much you taught my team and
Mhm.
how you helped me develop a lot of these systems and time blocking and whatnot.
Well, David, I know you have an appointment, and I want to leave on that great note that that is a simple and effective tip. And I read the other day an MIT study said that the average consumer or lead will take 4 to 18 months to convert and
Yeah.
6 to 12 connections.
Yes.
So that's the other thing I happen to know you're very good at is your lead
Yes.
follow up. So I just appreciate you taking the time to join us. And I love the idea of just the focus of who is my listing today, right? And I hope the team leaders watching will be inspired, and I also hope they caught the nuance, which is no disrespect to your team at all. It is a bit of a grind to be consistently training and coaching them and leading them. And yet I do think that that's part of the commitment you make as a leader, and it's also a great retention tool, as we already discussed.
Well, and
So
the thing is, I've learned over the years, and Debbie, I've learned how to do it right for doing it wrong for a
wrong.
long
Yes,
time.
we often say that.
I,
We
I
we did
hate
it
to,
the hard way. Let's help them cheat and do it the easy way, right,
yeah.
David?
And so the thing is those 4 hours that I spend every single week, the thing is it just ramps up and it keeps up and it keeps their motivation, and everybody is
Right.
talking about deals, and it just brings
Keeps them going.
everybody up, and
Well,
it just works.
well,
So
and you've got
it's
a
worth
beautiful
it.
place. So real quick before we sign off, if they want to reach out to you, go ahead. If you wouldn't mind, give them your email and cell phone so they can
Okay.
connect with you.
Yes. So it's David Lawson, Lawson Real Estate Team, Ingle and Volkers, Park City, Utah. My email address is david@davidjlawson.com. And my phone number is 435-901-0904. And I would love any referrals. We will absolutely, positively take care of them. And
I
the other thing
they
is
reach out.
anytime I get a referral, you will be in the number one person. So when we have people that are in your market, I mean, we send out about 2 referrals a month right now.
Great.
And the thing is most of the people that are in this audience, they know somebody that owns or is
Somewhere.
potentially thinking about buying in Park City. And if anybody wants to come to Park City, maybe take a half a day skiing, let me know.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you, David. And I know they're looking for you, so I'll let you go get to your next listing
All right.
appointment,
That's
and we'll
right.
talk to you soon. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.